Needs to come up just a little to get the back one. Will clip it enough to remove both red stones, so it's just the one yellow in the rings and one very wide corner guard left in play. Kelly Knapp sitting one for the time being. Logan Ede making his way down to the hacks. We'll look to make the hit on this. Probably try to stay right there on this attempt. Stay right there. You let Kelly Knapp hit it back, and then you may see him aggressively try to roll behind the guard on his last one. You roll behind the guard now, and if you make it good enough, Kelly Knapp will try to draw around, sit on the corner of your stone, and maybe get his deuce. Well, this is maybe a little tight. Curled past it, makes contact enough to kill it, but he will lose the shooter. So Kelly Knapp gets the chance to try to come around that wide corner. Have to think this is going to be a bit of a guess at the ice. Third game for both teams. They probably have had a few chances to go to the corner, but rare that you have to go out this wide. So first stone for Kelly Knapp here in the second end. If he can bury around that wide corner, still might have a chance to pick up two here. Nothing out of the brushers, not even bending over. And they're backing further and further away. This is deep for sure. And it will go all the way through the back. Now Logan Ede will try to get around, and if he can bury it, could get the force here. Final stone for Logan Ede without last rock, trying to bury one around the corner. Force Kelly Knapp into a draw for one. Plenty of room coming by the guard. This doesn't look light either. Brennan Jones meets it at the T line, and it will go through the back of the rings. Does hang on to the back line, but will allow Kelly Knapp the chance to simply throw his rock through the rings, and we'll have two blank ends to start things off here. As I mentioned off the top, big game for these two teams, both 2-0 as they come in. The winner through to the playoffs for sure. The team that loses still probably through, although the higher ranked team usually gets the edge in the playoffs. So you'd like to stay at 3-0 and have that chance to get the last rock advantage in your playoff rounds. No score through two ends of play. It'll be Kelly Knapp with last rock once again in the third.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Action in the rings here in this third end of play. First stone was brought in, the hit. Now it looks like an exchange of hits. And it looks like both teams content to exchange hits here. You will see a lot of times in the odd end, the team with last rock happy to play this through for a blank if that's the way it's going to start out. You may well see that if Logan Ede doesn't want to see blank end after blank end, he's going to have to throw a guard at some point in time. This relatively open end, if it stays that way, does give me a chance to peek through the standings and figure out a few more things. So I've looked ahead and looked at who's playing who. And the other thing I can tell you that in Pool C, as I mentioned, Steve Laycock 3-0, he's in first place in that pool. But Josh Bryden at 1-1, playing Dylan Dirksen, who came in at 0-2. Shane Cornelson also having finished his round robin play as 1-2. There is a possibility that if Josh Bryden wins it, he would be 2-1, and all of the teams 2-1 or better would make the playoffs. However, if he loses that game, I think there would only be 7 teams total with a record of 2 wins or better. Somebody's going to get in with a record of 1-2. And I'm not sure whether it's first and second in each pool or if it's first in every pool and the next best teams after that. See if we can find that out before the draw's over. If it's the next best 4, there could be a lot of people, a lot of teams that are 1-2 are going to end up no better than 1-2, kind of watching the scoreboard in that game. They may not be dead yet. Just the one stone in play, currently belonging to Logan Ede, but the teams continue to exchange hits here. Mike Armstrong with the hit stays right there. Now, if you get a nose hit for the Ede team, the next attempt for the Knapp team, they're going to have to roll to get into the rings. Well, not able to make the nose hit. He rolls across himself, and that leaves plenty of room for In this case, Brennan Jones to make the hit and stay right there to be in the rings. Makes the hit, but this one will roll out of the ring, stays in play. Had the opportunity to play in games like this myself, and I will say my own experience is that everything starts to feel a little bigger every shot when you get into a game like this because you know you've got 2 blank ends on the board already. Looks like you're headed for a third. You just feel like one miscue anywhere along the way could decide the game. You either give up the deuce or the steal, and that might be the swing in the game that wins it for one team or the other. Continuing to exchange hits. For now, it's the Knapp team sitting 1. We're on to skip stones. You will see Logan Ede, perhaps with his last one, try to roll over towards that yellow on the outside edge, whether he can get underneath it or even just get into the neighborhood and perhaps put it into Kelly's eye, make the hit and roll to the outside impossible, so he has to roll long ways across. A few options there. Makes the nose hit here. If Kelly Knapp doesn't want to give him that chance, he'll try to roll just a little bit to the other side of center. Going to make the hit, does roll to the other side of the center line, and that's wide enough that Logan Ede won't be able to make any kind of a roll towards that yellow on the other side. If he was anywhere near it, he's probably out the rings at the back. So he'll just look to make the hit, stay somewhere in the rings, and force Kelly Knapp to have to go after it at least. Makes the hit, rolls just a little bit to the outside. Enough that he's got Kelly Knapp throwing outside the edge of the 8-foot here. Not expecting a lot of curl here. You look at that broom, it's already inside the edge of the rock. doesn't have to roll very far to roll out, get the blank, retain that last rock into the fourth end of play. Kelly Knapp with his final stone in the third. Mike Armstrong close on the brush. Does pick it out of the rings. We've got our third straight blank end here to start things off on this final round robin draw. We'll have fourth end action for you right after this short break.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Well, fourth end, and we've got a tight center guard to start things off and a corner guard to follow that up. Now, Braden Heisted being asked to come around the tight center that he threw up on his first. Not only is it a tight guard, but also appears to be touching the center line, so it's also in the no-tick zone. We might see some rocks in play here in this fourth end. Doesn't mean we won't still end up with a blank. A lot of room by the stone at the front. Both brushers had backed away. Now they're trying to bring it deep, realizing it's going to be behind the tee line anyway. You don't want it just behind the button. Take it back far enough that if the Knapp team makes a freeze to it, you've still got room to get shot rock in front of it. Kelly thought about making a play on that stone at the back, has decided to come around the corner. I think this was actually an unintended consequence of the no-tick zone, and I don't mind this. It's that, once upon a time, if you saw a situation like this, Kelly Knapp might make a play on that stone at the back, and knowing that if he touched the guard, it's not that big of a deal. You'll still have an open shot at the back one on the next one. But now, with the no-tick zone, you can't risk touching that on the way by. If you take a little more ice to make sure you're by it, maybe you don't make contact on the back one. So they bring the draw in. It's its second shot rock. Doesn't look like it got fully behind the guard either. It's only about half in behind. Now, this is still just the fifth stone at the end, so that corner guard is still in the free guard zone. You have to be a little bit careful. At home, you may be able to hear the players a little bit. The production feed, I don't have any audio on the players, so can't hear the discussion, but there's got to be some discussion here about the weight and a little bit of concern coming by the guard. But the quieter you are, even if you touch the guard, you shouldn't push it to the boards. Well, He's going to clip it pretty thick this time. That will be enough to push it through to the boards, and that means the guard goes back, and that stone will be removed from play. It's not optional. This is the fifth stone of the end. And now, this being the sixth, it doesn't really matter if you touch that guard at the center line now. Kelly looking to make a play on the stone at the back of the 4 foot. Looks like you can see half or a little bit more, so enough to come down, and enough room to come down, remove that stone, roll over to the open, sit 2. On the brush, pretty much right out of his hand. I should also apologize because I'm looking at a very small screen. I don't think that's Brennan Jones. That looks like Kidby playing third, and he has played for them quite a lot in the last couple of years. He's kind of their 5th player. He's wearing Brennan's jacket, but I do think that's Mr. Kidby. Makes the hit on the stone of the corner, but thin, and rolls out of play. A chance to come back around the corner. While they're doing that, I'm peeking on Team Knapp's Facebook page to see if it says whether or not he's wearing Brennan's jacket and he's wearing a cap. It could be Brennan, but I don't think it is. Nice come around there, actually. Left it up nice and high in the rings, and it's still dead buried. So looking to come down to the shot stone, back of the 4 foot. They're going to need some curl here if they're going to have this rock hang around. He'll make the hit. Rolls to the outside and rolls just enough that that yellow at the top 12 is shot rock now. So looking to freeze down to the stone that was just thrown, rolled over to the back 12 foot. Nice come around there to the top corner of the button in behind that tight center guard. So looking for the run back here. Red onto red. If you hit it just right, it actually might come across and catch that red at the back 12 foot as well. Little bit of a bad break there. Jams it a bit and leaves it in behind cover. It is still shot rock. Logan has to make a decision here. He's looking at coming around again. The danger then is you leave the run double, which would still give the chance to sit two. I'm peeking at messages and looking at team Facebook pages and everything in the meantime, and I have got confirmation that is not Brennan Jones, and I got the confirmation from Brennan Jones, so I feel like he should know. Logan does have the option if he wanted to come to the open side here and make sure of the force. He's going to come around. There's some danger to this. I get what he's thinking because his own rock is behind the tee line. If you come open side, Kelly Knapp's just going to freeze to it. But he's left the double. Boy, it looks like Kelly's going to go after it with the out turn too. That's not going to look great from the hack. I mean, it's there, but it does run so straight from the outside in, and that tight yellow guard is going to be in your eye line as you throw it here. This needs to come up. He's got to get a little to the inside to get the second rock. He's close, very close. Catches it, makes the double, rolls across to the 8 foot on the other side, and just like that, Logan Ede no longer sits two. Kelly Knapp does. A little bit of pressure now for Logan Ede. Needs to make the hit and roll across under cover. Hard to feel like you can afford to give up a deuce in a game that has been so tightly played. You'd like to get out of this situation. Scary thing about playing the hit and roll is if you're a little thin on it, you probably jam it on the red at the back, and it could be 3. If you roll out, it could even be 4 because that yellow at the front, tight enough to probably try to split. Have to think with that amount of ice, he's going to go for the roll. Just cleaning early. Now sweeping for some extra curl. He's going to be really thin on the yellow. Hits it over the top of the red at the back, but his shooter will roll all the way across and out of play. Now, is that split worth it for 3? Not even going to look at it. Well, Kelly's not going to look at it. Dustin's looking at it. It's there. So looking to play it from the outturn side, it's a little tougher from this side, but it is, if you want to make sure you're going to get your 2, this is the safer way to play it. If it doesn't curl from this side, you just hit it on the nose, tap it in, take your 2. Starting to curl now. Line's close. He's got a piece, enough to push it in, and enough weight to roll in. Well, after 3 blank ends, Kelly Knapp with a nice split on his final stone. Picks up 3, one more look at it. Had to wait for it to start to come off that rock. That last little bit, they switched the brush up to get a little more curl. They had plenty to tap the stone in. They needed that last little bit of curl to get the roll into the rings. They're all in the 12-foot, but it's 3 points for Kelly Knapp and a 3-0 lead after 4 ends of play.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Well, after 4 ends of play, we finally got a score here in this game. 3-0 for Kelly Knapp after a nice split on his final shot. Logan Ede will have last rock here as we play the 5th, and now trailing by 3. He might have to switch gears a little bit. He's been a little defensive so far through this game. He's going to have to find some offense. It's the other problem you get when you start with 3 blank ends. The first points are on the board, and already it's getting late. Shot stone belongs to the Knapp team in the 4-foot. It is mostly exposed. Now, The guard is on the center line as well. We've seen a free guard zone violation already this game. You have to be careful here coming by that center guard. It's in the no tick zone. Nice line coming by, and he will tap it to just behind the tee line. Looking for the corner freeze. That one's going to come up a little short. Does end up as another center guard and overlapped a little. Tough double peel here. Logan looking at trying to get the double peel and roll off the center line. The most obvious, easiest way to get both yellows is straight back, but then your shooter stays in the way. Can't really go over the top because it's coming back into the red. Makes the double on the yellows, but does leave the red stone. A little off center on the rock that's full 8 foot. Another chance for the corner freeze, or even a little short of that. Both brushers down early. Oh, they might have been a little aggressive on that one. Overcooked it a bit. Comes down, bumps off the red stone, and there is a double available on the yellows now. With that little push on the redstone, it's pretty much dead behind cover as well. So you make the roll to the corner here. You'll be sitting 2 and shot rock dead buried. The tricky part of this is going to be to get enough of a roll to not leave it double back. Well, they had to tight ice to make sure that they could throw enough weight. Just curls past the nose, does not get the double, leaves the shooter right there. Doing a little housekeeping as one of the brushers, I guess, tripped over that rock as he was clearing. Had to jump by the guard and lost track of where he was, touched the rock as he was moving back to the corner. Now for Kelly Knapp, you could make a run at the double, but it's a slash double. It's thin. Even if you made it, you're rolling out of the way, and it would leave a chance for Ede to come down to that backstone. So they're going to try to get to the inside of the red and roll over to the corner freeze that they were looking for, basically the last 2 shots anyway. And this is not Brennan Jones. It is, in fact, Dustin Kidby. Sorry, Dustin, for not recognizing you earlier. I'm working on a small screen here. I will say I've had lots of chances to see this team, not just in games like this where I'm calling them on the air, but I've seen them in a couple of Bonspiels, Nutana and such, my home club in Saskatoon over the last few years. And Dustin has played with them quite a bit. And He's an interesting player as a sub in that he's the Swiss Army knife really of subs. When they bring Dustin into play, he plays the position of whoever is missing, and that included a Bonspiel where he skipped when Kelly couldn't be there. And that means that everybody else gets to play their normal position whenever he comes in. And that's not something that a lot of players can provide. And he's been able to do that for them. And I think it's to their credit. It really helps them. Nobody ever has to play out of position. And in case you're wondering how they did in the Bonspiel that he had to skip when Kelly wasn't there, they won the Bonspiel. So, they'd lose nothing when they put him in, and he just Swiss Army knife, goes into whatever's position they need him to play, and they don't miss a beat. Now with that little roll coming to the far corner of the red, there's maybe enough room to get by it and try to freeze that backstone. Brushes are really going to have to go to get by their own. Just not the weight they needed. It's going to end up corner frozen on the red. Well, that makes things interesting because the double's probably there on the reds. At the same time, you probably don't have to play it because he now can't get by to the yellow at the back. It does look like he can get pretty close to the nose, make the double, and still plug the path to the back one. Now with that broom, they're going to just make sure the two reds go away. There's going to be a little bit of weight on this one. Might have been a little in-out on the release. If he's too thin on the first one, it might not go. Sweeping for some curl at the end. Gets enough of it that it will spin all the way out the back. Knapp sits 2. Shot stone just behind the tee line, though, so there is a freeze available. Logan asking for just enough weight to move it, try to get to the inside and roll underneath cover a little bit. This is tough. There's not a lot of room between the stone and the 8-foot and the one at the back button. With the weight you're going to have to throw to get the curl, you're not going to get much of a roll in behind. And this is still a long ways out there. They'll get the tap. Shooter pretty much stays right there. Skip stones left to come here in the 5th end, looking like Kelly Knapp content to just pick this one out and let Logan Ede have a chance to make the come around. Tough come around. Well, on the brush right away. They've got to get by the long red guard. I don't know if they're by the guard this time. It's going to clip it. Catches the back end of the other guard, but still enough to get it all the way out of play. Ede sitting 1. Corner of the button. Tough spot for Logan. It's hard to find a spot where you can put this rock and not leave a double. If the red corner guard wasn't there, you could come around the yellow at the top. Even if you're edge to edge with the yellow, as long as you're not side by side with the red, it'd be tough to make any kind of double. Not really there with that guard there. Hard to come towards your own. They're going to play it as a bit of a split, but this is not easy. Not sure what else he's got, though. On the brush most of the way, looking to tap this back now. Pretty close to the nose, taps it straight back, catches the yellow. But has he left enough for Kelly Knapp to go after the double? Looks close. Looks like he can see all of the rock in the forward. If he can see all of it, then he's got a shot at the double. Has to be made yet, though, and he was probably a little tight on the last one, crashed the guard. He won't want to make that same mistake here, or it could be 3 points right back. Big weight on this attempt. Got one, just touches the second one, but with that big weight, that's enough to get it through the rings. Kelly Knapp sits 2. Logan Ede will have to draw for 1. One more look at this. A little bit of an extension on the release. He's got big weight on this. They jumped the sweep early, but it holds. And in the end, he just touches the red stone at the back on the way by, but with that big weight, that's enough to get it out of the rings. And important to get it all the way out of the rings, too. The yellows that are left in the rings would have been available for a double if Logan had had a chance for 2. As it is, he's got a draw for 1. Needs a little bit better than full 8 foot here. Brushers didn't touch it the first half of the way down the sheet. They picked it up now. Plenty of room coming by. It's at the tee line. It's at the back 4. It's at the back 8. But it does stop in time. Logan Ede picks up a single point with last rock here in the 5th end, but he now trails 3-1. Kelly Knapp will have last rock again in the 6th.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Shawn, Joyce with you here live from the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series in Swift Current. Final draw of men's round robin action. Both these teams come in with a record of 2-0, both headed to the playoffs. The only question will be the seeding. Early in this game, well, it's not that early anymore. It's late. Early on the scoreboard, there's only 4 points scored. It's Kelly Knapp with a 3-1 lead here as we play in the 6th. Looking to stay at 3-0 and move into the playoffs as one of the top seeds. The Ede team without last rock here and only 3 ends left to play has decided to play the 2 center guards. They're going to play all out for an attempted steal here. They can afford one more force. You'd probably like to steal 6, get the force in 7, have last rock coming home. That way you're 2 down coming home. If you get 2, you're going to an extra end. If you should happen to score 3, which does happen in the 5 rock free guard zone, you could win the game. Updating some of the other scores as I can here, the ones at least that affect the playoffs. Scott Rumpel, Shane Bowman were tied at 1 after 3 ends, with Bowman still having last rock. Winner of that game moves to 2-1 and should be in good shape to make the playoffs. Pool C, Josh Bryden, a chance to go to 2-1 as well, is tied 2-2 with Dylan Dirksen after 5 ends of play. Bryden has last rock there. And in the pool, it's going to be very interesting. Pool D, where everybody is 1-1 coming into this game. Carl DeConnick-Smith trails Ben Gamble 4-2 as they play in the 5th. It is DeConnick-Smith with last rock there. And Bradley Moser, Jason Jacobson tied at 2 playing in the 5th. Jacobson with last rock there. All of the action all weekend long available on the Curling Stadium Network. We've got every game being streamed and commentary on selected features. The 8 playoff teams will be determined tonight. The playoffs begin for the men tomorrow morning through to the championship tomorrow afternoon. On the women's side, a triple knockout in play. So playoffs will start tomorrow, with the women's championship finals actually Monday morning. That was the 5th stone of the end, so the hits can start now. A lot of room between these 2 red center guards, but they're going to make a pass at trying to get 2 of them moving. Mike Armstrong. Makes the hit, does clip the second one. His shooter will stay right there, but that is a very long guard on the center line now. Two choices here for Logan are you either try to come around the long guard and line the guards up, or you line up the 2 reds, the guard you're about to throw with the one in the rings. He has elected to guard the one in the rings. Well, overcurls that and didn't really get a lot of separation between the two guards. So another chance at the double peel. But Mike Armstrong this time drives the first one by the second one. And I will say, I do, looking at making a play on the rings, and if that's what they ultimately end up doing, I do like this. With that second guard being about halfway, it's hard to throw another guard and not leave a double. You get maximum separation by coming into the rings, and there's a few good things that can happen out of this. Doesn't need to throw a lot of weight. You see him gesturing the red onto the yellow, but he's not really trying to kill the yellow. He's just trying to get better angles in the house. You nose hit the red onto the yellow. The red that you're tapping up should come towards shot rock, maybe with a freeze. If you can get slightly to the inside, you can maybe get both of them rolling under cover. He only needs to have like back 4, back 8 foot weight on this. There's a lot of good things that can happen here. But he's got to get by the front one. Not going to do that. Probably didn't have quite the weight they needed. Kelly Knapp maybe thinking about making a play on the stone in the 8 foot. You're still not wrong to peel that guard, the more center of the two guards. If you're making a play on the red, you're probably hitting it right on the nose, losing the yellow behind it. You could come off the corner guard as well into that, kick it out. Mind you, that corner guard's not really a problem for you. It's just that it's the easiest way to get to the rock in the rings. I believe with that ice, we're peeling the center guard. And, if you're thin on the guard, you actually might come across, catch that one on the corner. And if you're really fortunate, could spin your shooter into the rings. Boy, you got to make contact with the guard, though. Really thin, but it is enough to drive it to the boards. Shooter goes between everything out to the divider itself. Just 6 stones left to come here in this 6th end. Logan Ede looking to make the hit on shot stone and try to roll in behind that staggered situation in the 8 foot. Well, this is already the inside. They've really got to go on the sweep here. Can't afford to roll out into the open past it. Rolls past it for sure. Almost rolled to where it's lined up. That's what Kelly's looking at. If you hit the red right on the nose, do you get both reds? It's close. You don't really need to try that, though. You've got shot rock. You could just elect to sit 2. He's going to play it. It does look like it goes. Nose hit on the red probably kills both reds. Wants to stay on the nose. This is curling. Good job on the brushers to hold it. It does go straight back into that red. Kelly Knapp sits 2. One more look at it. This was a really good job by Trent Knapp to hold the line. Got to the nose early. He was able to hold it there. Makes both Reds go away. Knapp sitting 2, and the choice is now for Logan Ede because he cannot afford a blank, so you're not throwing a hit here. You're either coming around that stone on the top of the 12-foot and trying to steal this end, or you corner freeze the stone at the back 8, and at the very least, you're no worse than a force. You give up 2 here. You're probably playing 7, but it's an uphill battle, needing 4 points in 2 ends just to get to an extra. Indication from the brushes, this might be deep. You can afford to be back 8 here. Got to get by the yellow. Got to get by the yellow. Did not get by the yellow. That was just not well communicated. They did say it was heavy. It's not that bad. It's about T-line. Critical to get by on that, even if you're back 4 foot. I mean, if Kelly Knapp, if you can convince him to try to freeze to it, you're happy with that. So now Kelly will have a chance to just play the hit on that red stone. He'll probably look to roll about a rock's width to the broom side. And then the problem for Logan Ede is if he tries to play that same draw, even if he makes it, he's got to be careful not to leave it in a spot where Kelly could come off of his own stone and still maybe get 3. If you're up too high in the rings, it's a short run back for 3, perhaps 4. Makes the hit, actually rolls just a shade to the center line side. Ends up in not a bad spot, though. Hard for Logan to make the draw in behind. If he makes the hit and roll, it's a very short run. They're talking about trying to make the hit and roll over in front of the yellow at the back 8. That's tough, too. Can't tell till Logan moves if there's enough room to get to the inside. Well, there you go. There's less than a quarter rock of air, I think. Tough to roll all the way over in front of the other Yellowstone. This is big trouble for Logan Ede. You can make the hit and roll underneath the yellow, but when you make it, it's only going to be about 1.5 feet between the 2 stones. That's not very much distance for a run back. Can you make the draw around with the intern wide and get shot rock? It's really tough to make the big roll with the amount of air that he's got. Everybody down talking about the options. None of them are good. Your best bet might be the intern draw if you can make it, and if you don't make it, it might be game over. But I agree with their thought process here. I'm not sure that any of the other shots You know, you make the hit and roll behind cover, it's a very short run. You're probably giving up 3, the game's over. The long roll, even if you make it, Kelly picks it out, you're getting 2, and it's murderously tough to make that shot because you don't have a ton of air between the guard and the rock you're trying to hit. This is a tough shot, but if you make it, you actually stand a chance to perhaps get a force. You can leave a very awkward angle for any of these runs. And the scoreboard, the situation says you might have to make a tough shot here. It's got a lot of room. The brushers haven't touched it yet. Needs to get some 4-foot. Not going to have the line for the 4-foot now. Is this rock going to stop in time? It's going to slide through the 8, far enough back through the 12 that it's 3 points already and a chance for Kelly Knapp to simply draw. Needs a good piece of the 12-foot. He'll pick up 4. And that might be enough. Winner of this game moves to 3-0 and will be one of the top seeds going into the playoffs. Even the loser should end up at 2-1. And I think in the playoffs, if I'm looking at the standings correctly, I don't see enough teams in the race that can push them out of a playoff spot at 2-1. Kelly Knapp will come down to his own stone at the top of the 4-foot, just nudges off. It is 4 points, and it is handshakes. Kelly Knapp picking up the win here over Logan Ede. That moves Knapp to 3-0 and on to the playoffs. Logan Ede should be in the playoffs as well at 2-1. We will have all that action for you. The quarterfinals start tomorrow morning. Semis and final later on tomorrow afternoon. We've got one more draw yet tonight. It'll be it'll be triple knockout action from the women's, not the final triple knockout draw. There's a draw yet tomorrow morning for the women, and playoffs starting on later on tomorrow for the women as well. We will have all of the action for you here, as always, on the Curling Stadium Network. All the games being streamed. There will be commentary on selected features all weekend long. It's the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series, live from Swift Current. My name is Shawn, Joyce. I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you for the rest of the event.
Curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.